Oh, you know what it is. You know what it is though. Yes, screws. Got it. Woo. All right, I think I have it figured out. Huh. All right, so let's build these cabinets now that I know what's going on. Yeah. So Captor already had the first one over on Talkwitz, and then the corridor location got jellies, and they're like, we want one. So there's one over there, and now they want two more, one for Cathedral and one for Rancho. But then that leaves out their Oseo location over there by the Ace Hotel. So they're going to be jellies. They're going to want a cabinet. So everyone wants a cabinet. I want one. I'll put one in my house. Say I won't. All right, so let's get after it. Lay of the land here. So the cabinets, we've got ourselves the backers, we got the surrounds, we have the little location for the switch, and what used to be the Sloan. So you're gonna have to re-drill. You're gonna have to drill your own holes for like a keystone or something. Get that in there. We have the face frames, and then we have the frames that the face frames attached to. And then look out for these little dudes. These guys are the corner light leak blockers. And then we have what used to be Macrolon. That's how old this is. But we're looking for Tuffac because the 120 is present in the sign. So we want to make sure that this is a rated enclosure. So UL, don't come after us. They already, first shop already nailed this. They already took care of business. But these are going to get painted opaque. And then they're going to act like as if it's all one piece of aluminum kind of thing, even though it's technically transitions from aluminum frame to a Tuffac face. But the illusion is sort of it's all one piece there. So anyway, so originally at Captur, they had room for 3.5-inch deep cabinet. And then once we got the measurements for the corridor version, we needed to put it on a diet. So it went to 2.5. So I went ahead and just made the rest of them 2.5 because that way we wouldn't have issues with depth and all that going forward. So this is what the green square, this is what we got. We got two of these. So the whole idea, again, I had to dig through the crates to figure out how I did this. This is ancient history. So you're going to start with your backer, and it's going to be bent up. It's going to have a little tray. And then you can go ahead and rivet the 4 sides to it at the back. And then you'll have, at that point, flanges that will be sticking out. So you can see right there, that will be the side once you attach it. So you'll have these flanges sticking out. And then this guy way down here is notched properly to slide in from the back, and it should clear all of the rivets, I believe. And then you can cleco that from the back side. Excuse me. So the backside will come in and you can lords that. And then that creates this flange that this thing will then sit against the wall. So that's the whole point. If you don't know that, is that it has an inch and a quarter frame that sits up against the wall. And then this all sits inside a pocket back there. So it's like, ooh, cool. How'd they do that? Inch and a quarter, little frame. So that's how that gets done. So you'll bring that frame in from the backside, boom. And then because that frame has these openings here, that's what these little nuggets are for. I had to try to figure out what these were. So these guys are like we do. You'll bend these at 45 and they'll tuck into the corner. However, because we have top and bottom, we have screws right here. That is why I made this side shorter. So the shorty side gets attached in the corners here. Let's see, blah, 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 right there. So this right here represents where this little nugget guy goes, right over here. Excuse me. Thank you for your service. We're good. So this little guy tucks in and right here and here. But the reason why I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what's up. So the reason why I shorten this is because when you attach it here, this should allow the screw to be right there. Because in order to put this face on, you're going to be putting a screw right there. So that's what that's for. That's why these guys are kind of funky. So put the shorties to the top and then put these down here, but they tuck into this frame right here. And that allows to hopefully block light leaks right there. And then maybe even caulk it or whatever. This is all internal. It's all inside, so I don't have to worry about anything. And then you can go ahead and rivet or maybe tack, I don't know, whatever works, that power supply guy right here. You're going to reverse bend this back. That gives you a place to put the switch, and then you front bend this, and then that way it just attaches. And then, like I say, this is for those little 20-watt Sloans, those 12 volts. That's how old this is. But you can go ahead and re-drill and put a keystone or something on there, make that work. I mean, honestly, there's enough room. I think you can cram a GE in this thing. I don't think it'd cause that much, because this is all opaque. So if you had to, you could jam a GE in there. But I don't think that's necessary. And then just go ahead and hit your LEDs. Again, this is all opaque other than just the copy. So, and then you're going to go ahead and shoot studs onto the face, and then go ahead and tack it together. And then, yes, we will be kind of sort of permanently smashing this onto this with studs, but this is internal. It's hopefully going to be 72 degrees all the time. We don't really have an issue with the other ones existing. So, but go ahead and just, you don't have to crank it down super tight, but just snug them up. And then this guy should live there nice and happy. And then it'll be, it'll look like one piece there. One thing to be said though, let's make sure once these things are built and they're black and, they're prone to scratching, and they're going to be right there. They're just going to be right. People can check them out. Make sure that these stay clean. Do not store these outside, because these are indoor signs. So don't store indoor signs outside. Don't let the dust get all over it. Let's keep them wrapped up. But again, black will scratch and it'll get all messed up. So these guys need to stay super clean, and make sure that happens. So that way when we deliver them, I'm not sure if we'll install them, but we might. I'm not sure. But anyway. But other than that, I think we're all good. And the way these guys did install is they just shot screws to the sides, in case you're wondering. There isn't any, because I didn't know how deep, I'm asking for a 3.5 inch deep, which is just, a standard stud depth, but our cabinet's 2.5 to give us room for electrical and stuff back there. So the whole idea, just so you know, is that these are the mount screw holes that are going to shoot into the framing around it. So they can just shoot sideways and then it sits in there. So that's kind of how that works, in case you're wondering. So, but otherwise, I think that's it. I think you guys got the idea. Hit me up with any questions, and good luck. We're all counting on you.